a little class. Okay, let me get this information down quickly. Okay, I have your note, Justin. Okay. Okay, and Tammy, I have your note. I was going to read over the weather. It's always interesting for me to see the weather in the different areas. Okay, this one says Himagnitaka Manti September Awa Abi is not put together. Today is Abi Chakali. The date is Abi Chakali, not Awa Abi. And then this one goes on to say Himagnitakwachaya Hoshi Tomi. That's incorrect also. Okay, this one says Himagnitaka Manti September Abi Chakali Talipa Sipokni Tuklo Akocha Awahanal Himagnitakwachaya Hashi Tomi. Perfect. Justin, you have the honor of being the first one to send in today's date correctly, spell correctly. Everything is in order. Chukma, Chukma. The one that I saw that was misspelled, I want to explain to you why it's important to write your words spelled correctly. The U is not used to give the sound of the short A. We use the letter V for the sound of short A. And I don't know if it was this class or not, but I had given this before. Here you have the word Hashi. Hashi is the term that means sun or month. Hashi is the term that means sun or month, spelled with the V, pronounced with the ah sound. Okay. The other word we have is spelled with the U, pronounced with the U sound, Hoshi. Hoshi. And the reason why I keep harping on this, if you want to call it that, is that Hashi is the word for sun. Hoshi is the word for bird. So if you want to tell me that the sun is shining, then use the term Hashi for sun. If you write this word, you're telling me the bird is shining. always make sure of your spelling before you send it in. It's that important. It should be that important. It's that important to me to make sure that you have the correct spelling. Because if you go out of here and you're making misspellings, and people will wonder who your teacher is. Okay, and this has been from the beginning. We went over all of the number words. We went over the weather terms, and I gave you those spellings. So those should be in your notebook. This is not new. We had this early on. Just like Hanali and Hanali. If you want to use if you want to speak about a leg, then you use the word Hanali with the emphasis on the NA, the syllable that has the NA. If you want to talk about the number 6, then you put more emphasis on that first syllable that has the first N. Hanali. Hanali. It's that important, people. Okay, this one says Lashpa. Lashpa. Mahli. Hoshonti. Very good. Very good. Okay, from a book. I was reading in the chat how some of you get impatient to learn this and learn that real quickly, and I try to pull the reins back just a little bit. Let's not get too fast. We want everybody to make sure we're moving along at the same pace. And it's okay to be that eager to learn, but if you learn the basics and build on that, then you're going to have a better chance of retaining and being able to use and not be misunderstood the terms that we speak. And if you took this class for the next year and a half or 2 years, I guess, and completed this whole course, you still would not have everything that there is to know about the Choctaw language. There is so much more. This is why I keep telling you there's so much more than what's in the book. Anytime you use a book for a type of learning, you are limited to what the book gives you. This is why we teach and speakers teach, and we can, there is more than what the book can give you. This is why I say use your dictionary. Use your dictionary a lot of times to find other meanings to the words you have in your vocabulary lists. Okay, let's look at, I found my pencil. I lost my pencil. I make it sound like I only have one. Okay, Holiso Hostina Awa Hanna Kipisa. Holiso Hostina Awa Hannali. Holiso Hostina Awa Hannali Kipisa. That's correct on Onali, but Onali are 2 words, O-N-A space L-I. O-N-A space L-I. I guess about half of you are there. Okay, at the bottom of the page, we're going to look at ilapa and yama. And as I've mentioned, you're limited to what the book will give you. And sometimes the book may not give you information that's necessary at the moment. And this is one of those occasions. Here you have the term ilapa with the nasal. Make sure that if you're translating from Choctaw to English, make sure you use the proper term in English. If the word should be, if this should be, those are 5 cows. Yamat wak tasapi. Yamat is going to be plural because you have the number 5 in the sentence. Yamat wak tasapi. Those are 5 cows. And always the linking verb, make sure your linking verb is plural also. I'm sorry, we're not into sentences yet. Noun phrases. Okay, this is all I'm going to give right now. I know I'm giving you a little bit more than you need right now in this chapter. But ilapa and yama can both have a short form. It's giving you wow. Oh,
Somehow I got it from the dictionary.
Oh,
And I used it. So I went back on the package.
Thank you. I just had a pen returned to me that was borrowed back in June. Okay. Here in the book, it shows you that ilapa has a nasal form and yama does not, but they can both have the nasal form. And we'll get more into that in the next chapter. I'm going to go ahead and give you all this information and just write it in your notebook. And that way, when we come to it, you'll already have it in your notebook. Okay. Ilapa and yama both have the short form. Ilapa and yama both have the short form. Ilapa means this or these, yama that or those. And again, they each have the short form. As you can see, if I can pull it up here. There is the long form and the short form. Ilapa, pa, yama, or ma. And these, well, I can't do that. We'll be learning more about this in the next chapter, but I want to go ahead and show this to you as well. Ilapa, when it takes on the T, becomes the subject or the subject marker. It can be the subject or the subject marker. The T is what makes it the subject and subject marker. This also has the short form, put and mut. Then we have the nasal form. When these are in the nasal form, these can be used as objects, object markers in the sentence. Object markers. The nasal form takes on, when it takes on the nasal form, it will be an object marker. So here, understand that it shows you in the book that ilapa has a nasal sound and yama does not. They both can have the nasal sound. the long form or the short form. Just want that understood before we go any further, because this is almost consistent throughout the understanding of ilapa and yama. They can each have the basic form, which is ilapa, or the short form, pa. The T form that's going to make it a subject or a subject marker has the short form also, pat and mat. The nasal forms, long or short, are going to mark the object in the sentence. Okay, reading here, it says the Choctaw demonstratives corresponding to English, this and these and that, and those have two forms, a full form and a short form. The full form may be used in all instances, but the short form is often preferred in noun phrases, so we may say both. And a lot of times the writer of the book speaks for Choctaw speakers, saying this is preferred by speakers or that may be preferred by speakers. Well, it depends on who the speaker is. So I can't make that determination and say, we as speakers all prefer this. No, I can't say that. I can only tell you about myself. So I will not speak for others and say speakers prefer this or prefer that over whatever use there may be. So I'm going to only speak for myself. So it says the noun form, the short form is often preferred in noun phrases, but we may say both, or so we may say both. Okisa ilapa, and that doesn't have to be a nasal. That doesn't have to be a nasal. And like I said, it's consistent through the book that the ilapa is the only one that has a nasal, and that's not correct. Each one of them, they both can have a nasal form, short or long. Then he goes on to say ilapa and yama are also adverbs corresponding to here and there. Here too, the shortened forms may be used. The correct translation is obtained through context. And I would suggest, and these little tidbits happen often throughout the book. You might get a little bit of information, but there's not enough to build anything on. So right now, I don't want to use yama and ilapa as here or there. And those of you who like to jump ahead, try not to use that. Because I want to teach you this, because right now it's probably confusing already because you have one with a nasal and one without. Well, and I'm telling you that it can be both. Both of them can carry the nasal form. So I don't want to get into this here and there yet. Don't want to get into that yet. Okay, going to clear the screen. So let's look at examples on how this can be used. Let's take a look at this phrase. Chukahoma. This is only a noun phrase. And as I said before, if you have difficulty understanding what order it should be in, just number your noun and just number your words. Chukka would be 1, homa is 2, and yama is 3. So when you put that in reverse order, you're going to see that red house, that red house, that red house. So going back to the word yama, I said this can be singular or plural. And in a noun phrase such as this, where you have nothing to indicate that chukka is going to be singular or plural, it can be either. There's nothing to indicate that chukka is plural, so it can be either. So when you translate, if someone writes that red house and someone else writes those red houses, they're both correct. Because again, our nouns do not have plurality. So when you see a noun phrase like this without a number to indicate whether or not Choctaw is singular or plural, then you're going to understand it can be either. Choctaw homoyama could be that red house or those red houses. Okay, let's look at this phrase. Ufilo sa tuklo ilapa. Ufilo sa tuklo ilapa. And whenever you see Choctaw on your screen, try pronouncing it out loud. Pronounce it out loud. Ufilo sa tuklo ilapa. Ufilo sa tuklo ilapa. Putting this in reverse order. You have ilapa. Ilapa means this or these, but you see the word tuklo here. Tuklo tells you that ilapa is going to be plural. Tuklo tells you that ilapa is going to be plural. These two black dogs. These two black dogs. This is only a noun phrase. It's not a sentence. I started you off with sentences a while ago, but I apologize. That's in the next chapter. These two black dogs. These are only noun phrases we're working with. Find a couple of words here. Okay. Changing that to Huliso Ukchako. Huliso Ukchako. Blue book. Huliso Ukchako. So again, Huliso doesn't have a number. So understand that it can be singular or plural. Our nouns do not have plurality. We have to give it number or another word that's going to tell us that that word is plural. So even by adding words, you can practice making these noun phrases and practice what they're saying. Huliso Ukchako, blue book. Huliso Ukchako Oshta, 4 blue books. Huliso Ukchako Oshta Yamma, those 4 blue books. Practice making noun phrases. That's going to be helpful to you when we learn to put these into a sentence. And as I've said before, we have the sounds. Those sounds become words. Words become phrases. Phrases become sentences onto conversational speaking. Build on what we have. Build on the vocabulary we have in these 2 chapters. This is going to be helpful to you. Napunaklo hashinshi. Napunaklo hashinshi. Okay, good. Okay, we've got a few minutes left, so you can translate these. These 5 white cats, that round table, this church, those 10 sticks. Those 10 short sticks.